Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk Mentoring. Um, I ask that everyone who is here today, please put their name and company, business, or agency down in the chat room. And then I ask also if everyone could mute. And if you have any questions, comments, please raise your hand and or use our chat room as well. My name is Jennifer Nieto Albarran. I am a Partnership for Kid alumni and part of the recruitment team here at Partnership for Kids. Today I have Chad. Chad is our former group mentor for Central High and I believe a middle school, but Chad's going to talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. So yes, like I mentioned before we get started, please make sure to put your microphone on mute, put your name in the chat room and what company, business, or agency you are with. Hi, Chad, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking and for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. So Chad, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got started with Partnership for Kids, or even like, when did you first hear of Partnership for Kids?
Yep. So I got started with Partnership for Kids well over a decade ago. Heard about it through a company I was with at the time called First Comp, and a colleague of mine, Nicole Bianchi, and I were very intrigued with what we could do to support the community in and around downtown Omaha, because Markel First Comp at the time was a relatively unknown company, but a big employee base there. And we thought that we could do more to inspire and influence the kids and just the constituents within the community. And we were approached by P4K as one of those, and it just launched from there. When I say it launched, we had, I think, and Cheryl, I don't know if you're here at that time as well, but we launched with probably 30 people, 30 members that were involved at First Comp, and we got involved. I personally was involved with a group of about 8 at Central High School, but we were also book buddies at a number of the elementaries as well. And so I think I am no longer with Markel or First Comp, but I know there's still a number of folks who are involved with book buddies and the goal buddies and at Central High still. So that's how I got involved. I was an executive at the time and was really excited to participate with P4K just because of what you guys do. We're big on, I grew up in small town, Nebraska. And if you've not been part of a small town, it's really, your education is informed by everybody within the community because everybody knows what's going on. They show an interest, whether they're your parent or not, whether you're educator or not, because your participation in the community is based on your academic success. And as a big city, sometimes I think that's tougher to build. Just being a participant in living in a bigger city and community, you get the sense that it's tougher to do. And P4K is an organization that helps facilitate that. And I personally think it's good for youth to have multiple different people involved in their life. Clearly, it starts with your family and then it extends to your teachers. But having mentors and peers that show that as well, it just trips your mind a different way. So that's how I got involved. And it's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And what schools did you work with? I know you mentioned Central, and then you said some of your coworkers did Book Buddy. Did you ever get a chance to try out Book Buddy or Go Buddy?
So we worked at the time, the first one that we were in was Kellum Elementary. I did not do that, but since I left and started my own company 3 years ago, I have been re-engaged with P4K as a book buddy. So I've had an opportunity to be on the youngest side and on the oldest side, and it's a different experience. And I think what I find most interesting about this is that the most engaging group that I have seen, it's the kindergartners. So the younger they are, they're not embarrassed to engage. They're just who they are. And so it's interesting to see the development over time as we as kids and individuals become more internal and more aware of what others might think or say. about our capabilities or lack of capabilities,
Mhm.
but at kindergarten, they don't care. And so for me, I thoroughly enjoy the book buddies just because they come in there with smiles and they're engaged, and you have to tamp down their engagement. Whereas sometimes within high school, and you were in that program yourself, and so you got to see it, it's at that time, you're really trying to pull engagement out of the youth.
Right.
And not that they don't want to be, but they're just more self-conscious.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. The kindergartens, the elementary students have tons of energy. The high schoolers, sometimes it takes a little bit, but eventually you get there with them. And did you, how about you tell me about, you said you've been with Partnership for Kids, or you were with Partnership for Kids for like over a decade. Tell me if you have a memory, or what was your favorite thing, or what changed. Let me rephrase this. Was there a certain event, a certain student, a certain something that really stayed with you after you left Partnership for Kids?
I think it's a collection of the connections, right? So yes, there are kids, and so a funny story, or I think a good story for me, is that the very first class that I was in when I went there became the young lady that I very first engaged with when I came back. And so she had gone the full course of the program through to college, back out of the program to support the community in that program, and that's Michaela Howard. And so I say Michaela is a great memory and experience for me because she exudes a young lady at the time who was very engaged, who had the program at heart for not just, so I think the program you look at in high school and you can say, well, it is a good avenue to support the financial component of academics for each of those kids. It's a good avenue to provide structure through that. And some participated because of that opportunity, which is a good thing. But others participated because the curriculum that you guys structure for them, it's informative, it can be engaging when you're with your peers, and it's what you make of it. So you're building connections with your peers that you might not see through class, connections with the community so that they can help guide you to those new opportunities academically or career. And Michaela was one of those people at that time that was that type of engaging in all of it. So not just there to be present, but there to engage in the topics with both the mentors, but also the facilitators. And so to see that young lady on the opposite side and the success she's had in her mind giving back, to me, that exemplifies what you guys are as P4K. And I think just the leadership, right, is from Deb and all the way through all the teams. Anytime an organization re-engages the people that went through that organization, that's awesome. And to me, Michaela typifies that. So
Yeah.
Michaela.
Michaela is definitely, she is our program coordinator for our elementaries right now, and she's doing such an amazing job. And there goes to show that how much our mentors, such as you, that impacted her through her journey through Partnership for Kids. Our group mentors make such a big difference in the lives of our students. I know that I wasn't in your class when you were when you were mentoring, but I was in some of your coworkers group as I was growing up, and they definitely also have made a huge impact in where I am today. So I feel like right now, what Partnership for Kids needs, and after this really rough year and a half, what we need is group mentors for our middle school and high schoolers. We have a couple, but our goal for our middle school group mentors is 40 group mentors for that program. And then we also need 49 for our high school group mentoring program. So right now we have 11 for our middle schoolers, and we have 29 for our high schoolers. So it's very important that that we get the word out. We connect with the community, like you were mentioning, and really look for people who want to be involved in these students' lives, because they are our future here in Omaha or wherever they end up in life. So thank you so much, Chad. You are amazing. And I know Michaela would have loved to be here today to also thank you. But she is a little busy with the program right now. But yeah, thank you so much, from from me to you. Um, my second question though has to be, um, in your opinion, how was the mentoring experience? Well, this is basically the same question, but I kind of want to see if, um, a student ever, so when you walked into this program, did you feel like, uh, like maybe a student taught you something? For example, for me, whenever I worked with elementary students, I have a memory of two little kids playing with a butterfly. And to me, that was it was very impactful, and it was such something so simple, but it reminded me of, to be grateful for the little things in life, the simple things in life. I kind of just wanted to pick your brain a little bit and see if there was ever those type of experiences you had while, with Partnership for Kids.
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. I mean, it's a tough one to answer. Yeah, anytime that you engage in an environment that is different than what you either grew up in or that you operate in every day, you do get a different perspective. And I think you take a few perspectives, right? Is as a mentor, mentors come from all over the metro, and all of us live in a different environment. And so when you go into that, you cannot go in there with any preconceived notions on engagement or lack of engagement or what motivates a young person or what doesn't. So I think it's being able to re-engage in conversations that aren't easy even as adults, and it teaches you to adapt to different communication styles of the youth. And oftentimes, I think one of the things is today we got electronics. Even then, we had electronics 10 years ago, but that point of engagement with conversations with adults and youth, I think that type of thing for me, it's valuable because I have kids, and I know how I interact with my kids, and the types of dialogues we have or don't. But when you go into the mentorship, you get to see different sparks from a bunch of different areas, and you get to gain perspective on what's going on in their daily lives that might be impacting this. And while you can't influence that or change that necessarily, you can be a sounding board. And so for me, coming from where I was as an individual in my role, it was an opportunity to be a better listener, right? And somebody who just consumed the information. And I think what, even as a parent, when you become a mentor, you underappreciate the value of just listening and letting someone articulate what's going on with them without imposing structure or thoughts. And as a mentor, you are in a great position to do that and be that person. You're not the instructor. You're not the facilitator whose job it is to put structure around and to guide. You get to guide in a different way, right? Support in a different way. So for me, that's a valuable experience because it caused me as a person to not try to set structure, but to be part of it and to be in a different. So that was valuable.
Yeah, definitely. For those who are listening, I feel like sometimes, when we mention middle school, high schoolers, people get so scared of like, oh, I have to be a parent, I have to be a perfect role model. And this, the reality is that we are learning as we go in life. And we just need for our mentors to be that. We don't need them to be the parent. We don't need them to be the program coordinator. We don't need them to be, anybody but themselves. And thank you so much, Chad, for bringing that point, because we want our group mentors to come as they are, to be a listening ear to our students, and that is very, very important in their lives, especially with just everything that's gone on. Sometimes just, a listening ear is all I need. So thank you, Chad, for that. And a little, I know you were just touching a little bit on it, but what are some tips that you have for new new volunteers, new group mentors when they're coming in? Um, what would be your advice or tips for them?
Yeah, so I would say number one, I'm disappointed to hear you have 11 out of 40 and 29 out of 49. I think that that's somewhat because the community downtown, when they were in the office, it was natural for them to be able to get to those schools on their time. And now with, I think, people separated remote, it's become tougher to get people to step away and engage in it. So we got to figure that out. But in terms of a tip, I think you hit it very well, is don't go in there thinking that you need to be earth shattering. Just being a presence alongside a young person that sees that you're listening, that sees that you're going to consistently be there, which, by the way, Jennifer, is why I stepped out years ago from Central. And there was a hiatus, is because my job, my career took me on the road a lot. And that didn't afford me the opportunity to be a consistent presence in the classroom that I committed to. And I think my advice is twofold. One, know that you're making a difference in the lives of these young folks, and you will see that over the years as the spark continues to turn and they get more comfortable with you, particularly in the high school as you go through with them. But even on the young age, from the beginning of the year when we had an in-person year to not, and now back in person, you see them interact not just with you differently as a book buddy, but with their classmates differently.
Yeah.
Because it's a safe zone. And so create safe zones. So safe zones is being a good listener. It's not going in there with your own expectations. You're going to feel good about it at the end because you start getting a more open book from the kid. And you start seeing their engagement by way of, by the way, and one of the things that I think P4K always emphasizes is tell the young person how important it is for them to be there, how many people want them to be there. And you see that one of your metrics is at the beginning of the year, we had everybody. Sometime in the middle, we lost half, and then they all came back, right? So just the engagement. So shift your mindset as to what's a success, because the metrics will be there, soft or hard. You will get reward, but it's not as immediate as you might hope, and your impact isn't going to be earth-shattering, seemingly, but you even hit it. It's just the kids, I believe, value that presence, even if they don't articulate it. So we as mentors just have to set that aside and know that feedback from yourself and from Michaela's and those even out. I live out west in Elkhorn, and I met a gentleman whose daughter went through the program 5 years ago, and he spoke glowingly about the mentors in the program. So it says the schools might be Omaha based. The impact is broad.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to go into it knowing that you might not get that feeling in the high school setting or the middle school. If you've had kids, you know that that's just going to happen anyway. You get it in the grade school because they all want to fist bump you. Just shift your mind, I think, right? Shift your mind, but know that you're having a big impact.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, you guys are never alone. You guys always have the support of Partnership for Kids. You have the support of your program coordinator. And yeah, just most importantly is that you also, we want our mentors to be good, and we want our students to be good as well. So we want to make sure that the mentors feel the most comfortable that they can feel. If they need anybody if they're struggling with certain things, they can always come to their program coordinator to talk to them or ask for advice. Or they could also, if you are doing the book buddy or goal buddy program, you also have an extra support, which is the OPS staff, the teacher that is in the classroom. You have their support as well. If you do have any questions, concerns, or if you're even just wanting to know what in what other ways you can connect with the students, since they do spend a little bit more time with the students as well. Thank you so much, Chad. And then, Chad, did you ever, besides the group mentoring program, did you try out any of our other one-time volunteer opportunities, such as Shark Tank? maybe?
Um, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did participate in the Shark Tank. No,
No.
so no, we engage with some of the charity events, like the P4K golf outing, and we'll go participate. The thing I love about the staff, you guys there too, is it's not, you've got your own program, but you engage throughout the community with other programs. So I've also been side by side at the food bank, volunteer opportunities that P4K staff is at, and just the integration. You mentioned OPS, but I think the team integrates well with other organizations that are focused on the education and the well-being of youth in the Omaha area. Sometimes, even though you're all nonprofits, it can feel like my territory, my domain. P4K does not have that. I would reinforce what you said in terms of structure. You never feel like you're on an island as a mentor. The staff across all programs, it didn't matter if I was with the high school or now with the book buddies, you're always communicated well to. The program structure is in place, so all we have to do is participate and deliver it. The teachers are set and prepped to be engaged with it, and they are engaged with it. You can tell that they see the value. So I know I'm jumping ahead on out of events, but yeah, I mean, P4K just as an organization, I think it's well organized. And if you want to get engaged in mentoring for the first time in youth, I've been in a few different organizations to do that. But this one is one of the best in terms of organization and curriculum. So,
Oh,
yep.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. And there's plenty of ways to get involved with Partnership for Kids. For those that are interested in doing what Chad has done in the past, you could join our group mentoring program. You can join our Goal Buddy, Book Buddy. You could even come in to speak about it's called Coach Career. You come into the schools and you speak about what you do as a profession, as a career, and speak to the students about that. Because a lot of the times, there there isn't, when you think of the medical field, the first thing, the career that comes to mind is doctor or nurse, but there's tons and tons of more careers within that field. But regarding the volunteer opportunities, yeah, the Shark Tank, like I was mentioning to Chad, is one of our opportunities. We have also mock interviews that we do for our middle school and high schoolers. We have a future fair coming up here in February 25th, I believe. And then we also have that Hops and Grapes fundraising event going on in January 28th. And we have tons of more opportunities to get involved with our college students. I know we don't have a mentoring program for them, but they have their own mentor, which is their program coordinator that helps them out through their college and offers them resources. And we also do college baskets, which we need sometimes we need donors for those college baskets for our students. Chad, I am going to open up the chat room if anybody wants to come off mute so that people can ask you some questions. Is that okay with you?
Sure, after you answer one for me.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I've been with the program well over 10 years, but Shark Tank, I'm not engaged in it. So what is Shark? I know the concept of Shark Tank, but how do you guys deploy Shark Tank for P4K? What's it mean to be involved there?
Okay, well, I am somewhat familiar with it, but Cheryl can probably cover more, but I'll tell you what I kind of know. From my understanding, each school gets into groups. These groups create a product, which is going to be popcorn. I believe it's popcorn that they sell. And they have to customize this popcorn. They have to pitch this idea to a board, which is our mentors, our volunteers, and the volunteers choose which product they believe that is going the best, well, I guess the best product. And then from there, the students create a plan on how to sell this product. Whenever they finish selling this product, they gather the monies for a service project that they do at the end
Okay.
of the Shark Tank. Shazam, yeah.
And when does that occur?
Actually, it just ended. Well, we're still right now the judges have chosen the products. The products are chosen, and now the students are figuring out the game plan to go out into the community and sell their products. So they have to think about marketing, they got to think about advertising, they have to think about so many things, but it's one of the most fun and engaging events that we have here at Partnership for Kids. But Cheryl can let you know a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
You did a really good job, Jenny, and it is a fun project for our middle school students. It really is led by volunteers from First National Bank of Omaha and business coaches that come in, and they guide our students in this model, this business model, everything from like, how will your budget work? So as an example, it is popcorn. One year I worked with students and they wanted to do ice cream with popcorn. And I said, great idea. How are you going to keep your ice cream cold? Right? You're gonna have to, that's an expense for coolers. It's an expense for ice. And then they're like, oh, never mind. So helping them understand how to do a business plan, very high level. And then the judges, like you, could volunteer next year. The judges do vote based upon the art and the profitability of what they're proposing. A lot of the time, the kids are mixing things like M&Ms or spicy
Takis.
cinnamon or something, something on top of the popcorn. They actually go into local businesses. So FNBO does sales. We do sales here at the Burlington building. And so they're actually out there selling their product. A big decision is made as to who's going to win from each school and how they're going to execute. And then all the kids get behind that one winning team in order to really practice their skills of public speaking, business relationships, all that good stuff.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's just, I guess, I didn't know about it, but it just kind of reinforces from beginning to end of educational career that you guys support. So that's why I love being part of this organization as a mentor.
Well, Chad, we would love to have you come in.
Even,
because we also work with, besides the career coaching, the mock interviews, which is another great opportunity for business people in the community to sign up and do. It's basically like a speed interview process where we bring in our high school students and they rotate from table to table to practice interviewing with different personality types, right? So Chad, the way you interview somebody and ask questions might be different than the way I do it. And so it gives our students an opportunity to have those practice experiences. And that includes everything of includes like, how do you dress for an interview? Right. And so we want them to practice that. How do you shake hands, make eye contact, prepare your materials, all of that kind of thing, because we're working with them early on how to carry themselves professionally and how to do business networking.
Very good. Well, I won't participate in that. I would traumatize with my interviewing techniques. So
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Does anybody have any questions for Chad? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chad, for coming here today to Let's Talk Mentoring. Also, thank you. Shout out to Mentor Nebraska for sponsoring Let's Talk Mentoring. And then I also put in the chat room the website to our volunteer page, and then the name of the schools we work with, the application link. And then I also I will put down my information in case anybody just wants to reach out to me. We can set up a meeting in person, virtually. You let me know, and we can talk about Partnership for Kids. Thank you again, Chad, so much for coming today. I hope you had a great time.
I did, Jennifer. Thank you. And hopefully who's ever on here with the opportunity to mentor, I hope you do it.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Alrighty. Bye.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you. I'll see you guys.